Hello everybody, my name is Jack and welcome to the NitroDrive channel for the introductory episode of our East Carolina Pirates Dynasty on College Football Revamped. Many of you may recognize me as not the experts editor, but I'm also a longtime avid Dynasty fan and broadcast sports as a side job. My biggest goal in this series is to create as much definite interaction with you guys as I can, and we'll even be providing a big time opportunity to get involved with the series later on in the video, so be sure to stick around until the end. While you're at it, please subscribe to the channel and drop a like if you want to see more. It really helps me out a ton. Let's see if we can hit 100 likes on this first episode. Anyways, recently Texas and Oklahoma sent the college football world into a frenzy by announcing their break from the Big 12 conference, so we moved them to the SEC. In our universe, however, the Big 12 saves their conference by poaching Cincinnati, Houston, SMU, and UCF from the American Conference. This would have left the conference with 12 schools, but they were so salty when Texas and Oklahoma left that they decided to take just one more school and poached Boise State from the Mountain West, which continued the carousel by recruiting BYU to take their spot. Clearly, the Big 12 commissioner didn't really think this one through, as there were now an odd number of teams in the conference, and the geography made absolutely no sense. After some realignment, they decided to separate the conference into a North and South division, needing to poach the American for just one more team for the Northern Division. Bizarrely, the conference extended an offer to East Carolina University to join the new Big 12, shocking everyone except for Kansas, which is really just hoping they're still not the worst team in the conference. ECU knew that they would be the laughingstock with the current state of their program and decided to just rip the band-aid straight off by making one key move. Head coach Mike Houston's resume was not Big 12 material. They needed a winner. Thankfully, that is one word to describe former Buffalo State College linebacker and conference championship winning head coach Bender Rover, who was released from his contract after putting Akron's mascot Zippy the Kangaroo in the hospital for 2 months. Rover wanted to do things his way and made that perfectly clear in his first address to the team, in which he said that he would not play any returning players on the roster under any circumstance and wished them the best of luck at their new respective programs.
You're all fired.
Additionally, due to the pressures of a new conference and the coaching change, the NCAA allowed all 70 players to transfer out without penalty, which worked out nicely, and Coach Rover filled out the team with transfers, JUCO players, and a few freshmen to begin his rebuild. However, Rover's stubborn attitude may have cost him, because this roster is undoubtedly worse than the one he started with. But alas, as we introduce the starters, let us know who your favorite player is down in the comments section. For now, let's get into it. Starting quarterback Cooper Juxley screams washed-up high school legend with just enough arm strength to make most of the necessary throws and enough speed to escape the pocket at the collegiate level, but he remains very raw. He's a strong runner at 6'3", 225, and may break a few tackles, but he'll wow you one play and disappoint you the next, most notably consistently failing to impress in his career when the lights are the brightest. If one thing's for certain, Cooper Juxley passes the eye test far better than he can pass a football. If Juxley ever goes down, Mario Garcia is essentially his Walmart brand version. The Pirates should look to the ground game early and often this season, and senior running back Leif Pringle will take the bulk of the responsibilities. At 5'10", 215, the senior from Ireland is one of the fastest players on the team with 86 speed, and he accelerates well. I'm not sure if it was just because he was practicing against this ECU defense this spring, but Pringle's frame and rugby background allowed him to impress physically, breaking plenty of tackles and driving his legs forward for extra yardage. However, this same frame limits his lateral agility and elusiveness, so there's really no guarantee as to how he will perform against Big 12 competition. Fullback Dimitri Valentine was recruited to junior college as a running back, where he specialized on third downs in a very niche role. By mid-season, he was off the team due to a violation of team rules, but resurfaced at East Carolina because, well, rules aren't really Bender Rover's thing. The wide receiver room is a melting pot full of a handful of players who can cover many different roles, but don't necessarily do anything very well. The best player out of the bunch is senior DeMarcus Dotson, who can certainly run, but lacks explosiveness. He's known to be a lazy player who would rather chill at home playing Road to Glory than actually go to the practice fields. On the other side, Ziggy Savage is slow for his size, but makes up for his lack of speed with his route running and acceleration. The senior may have the best chance to lead the team in receiving yards this season. Slot receiver Titus Tilley is one of the quickest players on the team, and not just athletically. He was recently voted funniest guy on the team in an anonymous student newspaper poll. The junior may need his humor to make up for his inevitable drops this season, because his hands are abnormally small, and you know what they say about small hands. Jaden Peppercorn was one of the biggest surprises of camp and definitely may need a role as a sure-handed possession receiver, since this team definitely lacks it. Sophomore Taj Berry will see some use as a slot guy and gadget player from time to time, but he is mentioned because he is the team's kick returner and definitely turned some heads in the spring. Bender Rover loved to cover tight ends, and now he loves to coach them. Wilbert Hernandez is as slow as a timeshare presentation, but he makes up for it by being one of the most well-rounded players on the team. Most significantly, he wanted to make it perfectly clear to everyone that he is not related to Aaron Hernandez in any way, shape, or form, and while these allegations are not helped by the fact that he was absent from camp this spring tending to unknown family matters, Dantzler Calhoun filled in and proving to be a solid depth option. Roderick Cushenberry is more of a receiving tight end, but was an adequate enough blocker to take snaps at fullback this offseason. The offensive line was a long battle this season, but the coaching staff finally declared the starters to be Mick Craven, Lloyd Farquaad, Hugo Pillsbury, Wellington O'Neill, and Arnold Malanahan, with Pork McNutt as the fill-in. No pause. For whatever reason, the names on the rest of the roster are completely vanilla when compared with the offensive line, which leads me to believe that all of these parents just wanted their kids to get bullied. Regardless, this position group will likely have the toughest time against Big 12 competition, but have the ideal size to at least manage. Speaking of size, Wellington O'Neill, who goes by Beef Wellington, fittingly, weighed into spring camp at an astonishing 355 pounds, despite only standing at 6 foot. He has clearly been blessed and cursed with some good Southern cooking too, since it isn't exactly muscle. On the other side of the trenches, the defensive line may struggle heavily this season. The starting defensive ends are Gunnar Schaefer and Roscoe Rogers, who are complete opposites in terms of their play style. Schaefer is a big run-stuffing edge player who will see the field on first and second downs before subbing out in favor of true freshman Tajik Bush, who offers significantly more pass rush upside. Rogers, on the other hand, may be a liability against the run due to a lack of strength to set the edge. However, he makes up for it by being the most explosive pass rusher on the team. He is backed up by Odysseus Terraberry, who may not be all that impressive, but was crucial in the Pirates landing his younger brother Thor, who has sky-high potential as an interior rusher. For now, the defensive tackles are solid, as Domino McStuffles and Bart Bigsby may not be the flashiest players, but are both strong enough and fat enough to get a few wins against Big 12 linemen. The linebacker is a crucial part of the 4-3 defense that Rover played in and coached at Buffalo State, and it all starts with the captain of the defense, Marshawn Miller Jr. He's as balanced as they come at the position, but doesn't excel at anything, just like Bender Rover at Buffalo State. His partner in crime, outside backer Boomer Brooks. He excels in coverage and as a situational rusher, but may have some difficulty laying the boom at 211 pounds. It will be something to watch moving forward, but they should make quite the tandem. Ladarius Diggs is the other outside linebacker and played best in camp as a hands-in-the-dirt edge rusher. That's pretty much it though, and he's in a very niche role at ECU. Alex Isaacson struggles in press coverage and lacks top-end speed to keep up with defenders deep, and will absolutely never be relied on in press man coverage. What he does have is a sixth sense in zone coverage, along with lateral quickness and above-average ball skills. He will excel the most in short and medium zone schemes such as cover 2 and cover 6. On the other side of the field, fellow senior Dylan Decker lacks ball skills, lateral agility, and any form of awareness in zone coverage. To make these players even more different, Decker is a press man cover corner who excels in run defense, so Bender Rover will have a year to decide what type of corner he wants in his 4-3 defense. The starting nickel for the Pirates is Luigi Vozelli, who is faster and quicker than his outside counterparts. He is also a more balanced coverage player, but struggles to reach his top speed, and couldn't even pressure grandma if she was lined up across from him. At 5'10", 198, Iggy Potts has the size and athleticism of the modern single high safety, but below average, well, everything, which really holds him back. Our best bet is to stick him in his zone and hope he doesn't have to hit anyone. On a completely opposite note, strong safety Abdul Hudden lacks any athleticism at all, but is not afraid to hit anyone at any time. Due to his speed, we can never call on him to cover deep, so dropping him into the box as a sub-linebacker could very well be the play. While not much more athletic, Winston Rasmussen is another option in case we ever need a substitution, but is still not inspiring. There's really a lot for Coach Rover to figure out schematically. Through practices, we have determined that redshirt senior kicker Luca De Jesus is at least capable of kicking a 50-yard field goal, but don't get your hopes up, as his percentage will quite likely hover pretty low this year, as he was signed basically off the streets from a nearby martial arts dojo. Our punter Rory Ragsdale happens to be one of the most interesting players on the team. Hell, he's fast and stronger than a lot of players on our team as a former tight end and stands at 6'7", 235. It would just be great if he could focus a little more on punting the football. So that'll do it for the starting roster going into the season, but with a new era of ECU football, no one's job is entirely safe. Once again, let us know down in the comments section who your favorite player was and why. I'm personally really looking forward to some of the position battles that are destined to occur as the season gets underway and we gain new recruits. Speaking of new recruits, do you remember when I told you that you were going to get a chance to get involved in this episode? Well, now is that time. Click the top link in the description to access a Google form where you are free to submit as many recruits as you want to the series. Only 10 will be selected each season, however, so the more recruits you provide that fit the criteria listed on the form, the better chances you will have to be in the Dynasty. On the subject of immersion, have you ever wanted to track a Dynasty series but find it difficult to keep up with all the information that you want? If so, look no further because I have created an entire spreadsheet with scores, schedules, stats, awards, and even recruiting classes with yearly progression. You can find the link to this spreadsheet down in the description, and I will update it as the series progresses, because honestly, I have chosen to take the time out of my everyday life just to make a series because it's fun for me, and I would love to see you as invested as much as you can as well. Of course, we will also have some very unique recruiting restrictions that should play a part in making this rebuild a little more interesting, because let's face it, signing the top class and winning a national championship in year 2 would really take the fun away from this series. As of now, I am thinking about doing a season intro such as this one every year, along with at least one dedicated recruiting video, a season recap video that covers every game and season stats, and off-season video, and then a big plays compilation as we start the next season. A regular episode will, of course, in my specialty, be a doubleheader in ESPN primetime style. Please let me know down in the comments section if there is anything else you would like to see in this series. I am 100% open to your suggestions. We are starting this season off against Florida Atlantic University, who took our place in the American Conference. The result of this game could be a really solid indicator for the team's season success as a whole, since they're one of the worst teams on the schedule. However, they are being thrown straight into the fire after this with a game against another new American Conference team in number 22 Coastal Carolina. They have consistently exceeded expectations over the past couple years and are certainly one of the most talented teams in college football. We will see both of these games in the next episode. Remember that a simple click of the like button can go a long way to helping out the channel and allowing me to bring you more high quality content. If you're new, remember to subscribe and leave your feedback on the series in the comments below. I am so excited to begin this series with you and hope that you enjoyed this introductory episode of our East Carolina Pirates Dynasty here on College Football Revamped. My name is Jack. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.